Hi FlossTube Stitchers. I'm going to start tonight by showing you my very first purchases at the recent Nashville needlework market. It was very intentional that I went to her suite first because ahead of time we had received an email from Linda Stoltz of Erica Michaels saying that she was having a model sale for the first 2 hours of the Friday night session. So I have purchased models before. I had a few framed models come home with me from a previous market from Judy Whitman at JBW Designs, and I was very happy with those purchases. And this time I thought it would be fun to bring home some soft finishes, which I knew Linda would probably have a lot of if you know her style. So I was surprised that I was only third in line because I only went up about 20 minutes ahead of the 4 o'clock opening. And there was already a line halfway around the entire floor to get into a fabric dyer's room. But I chose to start with the models. And I'm telling you, the ladies flooded in there, and some shop owners had armfuls before I even had a chance to look through the first bin. And I may be a little slower to make my decisions, and I wanted to have intentions for what I purchased. So not only did they have to make a good model for the shop, something different that I didn't already have, but I also needed to like them myself because they will eventually be in my house forever, you know, whenever the shop is closed. But in the meantime, you know, for holidays or whatever. So they had to serve two purposes, and I almost didn't have a choice. I had to grab some things and grab more than what I wanted, and then decide while I was standing there in line, and then put a few things back. And it was really cute because a few other shop owners were helping me. There's going, oh, there's another one over here that's similar to that style. And I'd be like, oh, okay, thanks for showing me. And the one shop owner ahead of me in line was, I think, it was a fairly new shop. And so she was starting with virtually no models. And she thought that would be a really good way of opening her shop, was to, you know, to have more models. I guess my thought was, you kind of have to know your customers, but as another shop owner said, well, you can always sell the models. Once you're done with them, you don't have to keep them. But anyway, I knew I wanted a strawberry, and I was lucky enough to get this one from Fall Bounty. The chart is called Fall Bounty Berry, and it's a partner design because she used to have individual charts that showed a smaller, more intricate design done on 40 count gauze, and then a separate chart would have a little less stitching shown on linen. So when the silk gauze got hard to find, she partnered the two charts together so that you would have a choice. And if you wanted to stitch the smaller one and couldn't get the silk gauze, she gives suggestions for stitching over one on linen or even weave to get the look that you want. You'd have to really recreate it, you'd have to stitch the entire background. In this case, she chose a Weeks Dye Works dyed gingham linen. And while I'm showing you this, I should go all the way around. So that's where the seam is. And I always did enjoy when Linda would take photos of her models from this angle so that you could see the detail that she put on the tops. And there's a little over one. I think the words are the only thing that's done over one. But I love squirrels. I don't have a strawberry yet. I have not done one myself, so I thought this would be a good idea for me to have as a template. Well, there's templates in the design, but you know what I mean, to have a finished model in front of me so that I could check things like how tight the stitches were on the seam and what the point looks like and that sort of thing. So I was really happy with that. This is what the chart looks like. And you can see there actually isn't, this big acorn is not on the big design, so it is a different design. And you could also do this as the bigger design, or you could do this as the smaller design and just fill in the background. So the charts themselves are very versatile. But another shop owner was saying, we really get 6 charts in addition to the purchase of the model. And it was extremely generous because honestly, the 3 models that I bought were $40, which was the least expensive for each model. And I think they went up to maybe $60, $65 that I noticed, and those may have been framed models. So for $40, you get the model and 6 charts. Her charts sell for $15 because they normally have either 2 designs in them or multiple finishing ideas. And then of course they used to have a little piece of silk gauze in the appropriate ones. But she said, yes, they're gonna do me more good in your shop, and they'll sell faster because you'll have the model instead of maybe just moving around in various trunk shows. These would actually be in shops that customers would be able to see them every day. I still thought it was extremely generous. All right, then I knew I wanted something for Halloween. Let me show you the chart first, because when this came out, these aren't even that old. Like I don't know if these maybe aren't selling as fast anymore as she thought they would, or she said she just had too many models, but these aren't that old. This is from 2021. The fall one was 2017. But I had considered doing this. I even auditioned some fabrics a few years ago when it first came out. But what I ended up buying was this pillow, which is fine. I can always stitch that as well. And this is really heavy for its size. There's a lot of sawdust or something in here. It makes it very heavy. And then it includes the 2 pins from Just Another Button Company, but it's, you know, it's finished really well, and it serves the purposes for me of having something Halloween that's not too gaudy. I like my Halloween to be a little more subtle and not have, I don't know, the Halloween things I stitch don't normally have a ton of color in them. And then there were more than a few dog and cat designs, so I could not resist. Oops, I don't want that to fall off the chair. I couldn't resist getting one of the dog. I think there were 4 dog models, and maybe the same with the cat. And each one had like a pillow and a berry. Well, since I had already chosen the fall berry, I decided not to get this berry, and I got this pillow. So it's so cute. We could call this little Sophie because that's about, she's kind of that color and white. But the fabric is just adorable that was chosen for the back. And I just like I like the rickrack and are they beads or, no, they're pins. I thought maybe they were beads, but I think she just stuck pins in there. So those are the pin heads showing. And I just thought it was really cute, and I'd like to have a little basket of small dog finishes, or maybe put it in the tier tray in my kitchen. My kitchen's blue. There's some denim in there, and so this would look good there. So my purchases were very intentional. Okay, then so those are new models for the shop. Hey, I didn't have to do anything and didn't have to borrow them from a stitcher. They actually belong to me. The next thing I wanted to show you was something that I borrowed from my friend Marlene. I was visiting her over Christmas, and she gave me some things that she wasn't going to need. I think this was framed kind of recently, but this is how it came. It started off as a 3-part series, a Sal from Tiny Modernist. So this would be the first chart that you would get, and then the second chart would have the 2 parts, and then the third. So I was going to rearrange this and show you the finish, but I have the finish, so I'll just show you how they come. And when we reorder a Sal after it's finished, we go ahead and put it in one thing to make sure that you really do get all 3 parts, because there are people that come up to the register with just the 3rd part because they think it has all 3 in it. but you still get 3 marks on your book club card because there are 3 individual charts in here. So she did hers on a pink fabric, and I don't know what she used. She has been part of a fabric automatic program, and she's also purchased fabric when we've had consignment shows, trunk shows for our tour in October. So I'm not sure where this came from, but it looks very different, doesn't it? On the kind of purpley pink color rather than the navy. So I thought this was great to have the model on display on a lighter fabric. So if people are hesitant about working on a dark color, you know, they can see it done on something else. And the white shows up perfectly. I don't think she changed any colors. I didn't really compare it to the chart, but everything looks really good and shows up on this. So she stitched it in 22, but I think she just had it framed recently. So that's Hello Spring from Tiny Modernist. All right, then my next really intentional purchase was with Olde Colonial Designs. I haven't bought from them in a couple years, and it was on my mind to look into whether they still carried those pre-finished pillows and the little tiny frames that I used to carry. And their website didn't necessarily show everything, or you know, it's worth asking. And they did have a big basket of their tuck pillows. Remember the snowman name tag from Bent Creek that I showed you in January or December, whenever that was? I don't remember what went in this to start with. Maybe I didn't have it. Maybe it was another person's design, or maybe this was the second design in the name tag series, but I didn't look it up. But anyway, it's kind of a maroon color, but it's the same diamond shape opening with the ribbon hanger. $4, people, $4. I don't think they could make them now for $4, but Kelly is the daughter of Pam and Bob Reed, and she and her husband Adam took over the business last year. Well, still a family business, but they're taking charge of it. And she's finding things that maybe haven't made it to market recently, or maybe they don't have the other materials to make the kits, or maybe the kit has run its course and they're not going to reproduce it anymore. So these are extra pillows. And I heard her tell someone else that she had done consignment, and I'm like, yes, please. So when things calm down, probably next week, I have a few designers I need to reach out to about various things. But I'm going to reach out and say, hey, did you find any more pillows? Because whatever she finds, I would like to just get them on consignment. And I don't have to wait until the tour or until a special event, because yesterday or the day before, one customer bought 10 pillows. So I don't need to wait. I didn't even need to tell her what to put in them. She liked the fact that it was an ornament, and she had 10 people she wanted to stitch for. I didn't ask. I don't know if it was a friend stitch group or whether it was grandchildren, but she needed 10. And so this was the other, I guess I can take this one out. This was the other pillow that they had. And it's blue. I'm sure you could put patriotic in it. It's actually a floral design. So maybe anything for spring, or I don't know, you can decide what you want to put in there. I probably would still put patriotic. There are some patriotic designs that have florals in them, or who cares, you know, the design is subtle. But anyway, I have mostly these left. I only have a couple of the burgundy ones because the other customer bought 10. So anyway, they had those. I was excited to see that they still had the pillows. And the other frames that I used to carry, they call them petite frames or tiny frames, but they went with sampler kits, but I used to purchase them separately as well. And people could just do like a part of a design, or a little tiny, you could also staple a ribbon to the back and make it into a Christmas ornament. They were that small. So anyway, I bought some kits that included the frames. And the original frames from Bob were more like, I heard my framer the other day refer to them as like, you know, the brown frames were like furniture finishes. And so I did buy some kits with these, but I didn't buy any of these frames this time. I think I will place an order and be a little more intentional about what sizes I'm buying, and maybe if I think of something to go in them to use as a model. But what I did buy was Adam's new line, which is a little more rustic than what his father-in-law did. And it's this kind of, I don't even know what you call that. I think it looks like corduroy, but it's kind of a ridged design. And I don't know if there's more colors. I actually forgot to check the website, but I got the off-white, gray, black, blue, and green. And these are the 3x3s, and they are, I don't want to make a mistake, $16 for a 3-inch. Now, you can't buy a 3-inch from a custom framer because the machines don't cut that small. The only way you're going to get these tiny frames is when the owner of the equipment, the owner of the company, takes his own precautions and proceeds to make frames smaller than what the equipment suggests. So this is a great source, and my custom framer, Bonnie, is all for it because she bought a couple frames yesterday they were little quilled cards that went with envelopes that you put gift cards in. So not like a greeting card, but little. And she's gonna, I'll show them when she's finished, but she's going to mount them or put mat board around them. And she thought that, I think she ended up with a blue and a green because they were a sea theme. So she was all for it, and she knows she can't make a frame this size for this amount of money. So it is what it is. We have to carry some ready-made frames as well as custom. You just can't afford, honestly, to get everything custom framed. So my other intentional search at market was to bring back more things that you could finish yourself. Or you could take it to a framer, but you don't have the expense of the custom frame, because my framer, I don't know about other places, but my framer will do pieces parts. That's what I told. I've had 3 framers. Bonnie's been with me for more than 30, so the other 2 almost don't count. But I told all of them, you have to be able to frame a piece in any stage, whether they start from scratch and get a custom frame, or whether they bring their own frame, whether they're redoing something, or, and obviously all of them would do things that weren't cross stitch. But my point was, I'm going to be carrying frames from people in the industry. And so you need to be accepting of that and not tell people that it has to be a truly 100% custom job. And I know there's custom frame shops that won't do that for you, because honestly, most of the money they make is on the frame itself. So, but she can do them quickly, and she is a stitcher, and she gets it, and she bought some frames herself. So these are 3-inch. I also brought home some rectangles. These are also 16. So they had a range of sizes that were all 16, because they were almost the same if you look at the United Inches. So there were some rectangles, and then there were some larger frames. I'll just show you, a couple. So this is a 6-inch. So, I tried to get a few of some of the bigger sizes too that people could use for normal size projects. And maybe next time I'll get more of the tiny furniture finished frames. So I have a whole basket of these frames. And tonight before I leave, I'm going to spread them all out on a counter and take a picture, and that's going to be my Nashville spotlight for tomorrow's social media. So I thought I would show those in person, and then show the whole range of what I bought in another photo. Okay, so back to the kits. So I bought the 4 seasons of these little tiny kits that are done on banding. And you don't find banding that often anymore. So I thought these were really cute. The way it showed some finishing fabric behind it. And this is what you get in it. So you get the fabric, the cross-stitch fabric. There's the star, a needle, the floss, everything you need to finish it. Probably not the foam core to stretch it on, but you can easily get that. let's see, what am I gonna, okay, I'll just put them on the floor. All right, and then, so that was kind of the wintry one, the Christmas, hanging with Mr. Kringle. And this is the spring one, bird stack. And this one happens to have a card where all the floss are labeled. So that's a nice touch, but it has everything in it. And all 4 of these seasonal ones were designed by Kelly, their daughter. 1776 Be Free. And I'm sure that you could stitch this in an evening. And then Foxy Fall, and they were all $28. All right, then these were not new to market this year, but because I didn't probably look at them last year, because I don't know if I didn't open it up to see what year they were, but I'm not sure they were new this year. But this is St. Nick's paintbrush, and they even painted the paintbrush. I thought we were going to have to do that ourselves, but they actually, that is such a clever thing to use as an ornament. I just love that. So that's 22. And then the other one that was on a paintbrush was this little Halloween cat. And it's also stained a faded black, and there's the little ghost charm that goes on it. So I thought those were cute. They would make a quick gift. And then I bought a couple others. This one was designed by Tamara Finn, who must be an employee there. So this is Summer Buzz, and it includes the frame. So that's 28. This is Haunted Harvest for 30, and it includes the charm. You have to glue it on yourself, but it does include the frame and the charm. And the last one is something that you could finish yourself if you're a seamstress, or give to a friend or a professional finisher, because they just gave you the really cute star finishing fabric. All right, so that was Olde Colonial. Pam opened a needlework shop in Massachusetts the same year that I opened my shop. Of course, I didn't meet her till years later at the first trade show. So that was 88, and then in 92, I don't know the name of her shop because I don't think it was the same as her design business, but in 92, she decided to go full force with her design business. She had been designing things and making those tuck pillows. So that's how long those tuck pillows had been around. And I think she might have a copyright on the name Tuckaway. But then she decided to, move past her own store and try to sell them wholesale. And she spent just years, going to trade shows. Okay, so that was Olde Colonial. And then I purchased, I wasn't able to purchase much floss while I was there because I concentrated on other things, including the fabric that I showed last week. And the thread was out of stock, so I had to get those after. This is the Threadworks palette for the Night Garden series. And there were like 20 plus designers that came out with designs for this year's market that use these 4 colors from Threadworks. And they are $20 a skein. No, I'm sorry. They're 20 yard skeins for $5. So that's why they do a palette so that if you buy these, you're going to use them for multiple designs. Now, the funny thing is, or the interesting thing is, I did post a collage ahead of time of 9 of the designs from the Night Garden series. And the only one that I got pre-orders for was Tiny Modernist Twilight Moon. So I did get some of the others. Some of the rooms I went to, they were already out. And some of the designers were represented by other designers because they maybe don't have enough to bring to market yet, or maybe they're a young mom and they can't leave their family. So the idea of using a color palette and coming up with these designs with a hashtag is to help out the smaller designer, or the designer that is not in a time of life where she's able to go to markets. So I'm sure I'll still be able to get these charts, but they're not going to all be at a distributor together. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but I did order the floss. I thought they were pretty. You could certainly use them for other things as well. And then, let's see, let me get this black board again. Weeks Dye Works also had run out of their threads during market. And the crazy thing is, I was rooming with one of their employees, so I had an in. I probably could have sent a list down and gotten some, but I had a whole other list of threads I was running low on that I was going to order at the same time, so it didn't make sense. So I just did it when I got home, and I got them a few days ago. And these are the 4 new colors: acai berry, chantilly, liquid gold, and pickled okra. And I thought they were very interesting colors. I'm especially taken with the liquid gold since I stitch a lot of bee things. And the other thing that I really appreciate, you know, they're my favorite thread company, but the other thing I appreciate is that their numbering system makes sense. They're color families. So like right here is liquid gold, and you can see how these are maybe lighter, brighter, these are maybe darker. This is the acai berry, and it's the darkest in a line of plum colors. And I just really appreciate all the thought that Miranda put into her business. She had numbers to start with, where some of the other companies didn't have numbers until they got to an online ordering system. And so she always intended on keeping them to a color family. That's why sometimes there's an A after it, because maybe they came up with another shade, but there's no number left in between the numbers that were already used. So anyway, she has another very interesting story about how she started, kind of like Pam, starting off as a shop owner, and you can read it on the Weeks Dye Works website. But I was chatting with her and mistakenly thought that she had a degree in chemistry or something, and she really didn't. It was a degree in environmental design with an emphasis on textiles or fiber, and that's how she started. And in my head, I was thinking it was chemistry. But read her history on her website. I'm not sure it was on the old website, because there's a couple stories in there that I don't remember reading. So anyway, that's that. And then I also got in the automatic Belle Soie from Classic Colorworks, and it's cake, kiwi, and weathered vine. So these were the colors for March. All right. And I am adding to my automatic because I've had a few more people that wanted to join. So I'm going to add more for April, and you can still catch up with the first couple months. The gift I'm giving this time is the set of Weeks Dye Works threads. If you don't, you can tell me your favorite color if you remember the names, or you can just use the word weeks in your comment. And her part-time employee Jody that I roomed with sent me a nice note with my order. So I hope that we stay in touch, because I really enjoyed meeting her, getting to know her, and the few times that we had to chat, because she was so busy in the room. It was almost like having the room to myself during the day, because she was mostly in the Weeks Dye Works suite. So it was kind of the best of both worlds. I had somebody to talk to at night, and then I kind of had the room to myself to reorganize in between trips to different floors at the market. So it worked out great. Okay, and then I don't know what happened. I pulled one aside and it disappeared. So I don't know where I put it, but the winner of the Needlework Shop Enamel Charm Zipper Pull from last week's video is Karen Lovejoy 16194. I know I probably don't need to read the numbers, but Karen Lovejoy, and I've already reached out to her and let her know how to contact me with her address so I can mail this to her. Next week, I'll hopefully have the Atomic Ranch Fabrics auto. Maybe I'll show you some more charts, but I don't know, maybe you've seen all the charts already because they've been all over social media. So maybe I'll get back to stitching this week and show you. I know I have more shop models to show you as well next week. So I'm always trying to plan ahead so I have enough to talk about. So, okay, I hit everything on my list. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.